Hi, I'm Bernstein, and over the last 35 years as a sportscaster for ESPN, NBC, and Showtime, I've been involved with and seen some great programming ideas. Well, it's my pleasure now to talk to you about another great programming idea. This one, travel programming. 300 cities in 300 days. It's a great concept. And not only am I pleased to talk about it because it is a great concept, I'm also pleased to talk about it because I know so well the lady who is the producer and host of this show, Sonia Sivo. And I'm going to bring Sonia in right now. Sonia, for 10 years or more, I've been involved in programming that you've been involved in. You've produced programming that I've done, and I've seen your skill sets. And so you're bringing it to bear now on a travel program. Why this idea, and where did this spring from?
You know, Al, I'm watching TV just like we all are, and I don't see enough of things that are around us. There is this huge gap between the stars of either regular TV, regular shows, or reality shows, but there is a gap still between that and your regular everyday audience. So we're trying to close that. We're actually trying to bring the people that we're going to, the people in the 300 cities that we're going to visit, on the screen with us.
People are going to be interactive with you, and people that know about these places are going to be giving you suggestions, and you're going to be talking to them about it.
Absolutely. Like I said, I want to bridge the gap between television and the people that you ask for an autograph at best, and then they can't wait to get you out of their face, really. and real people. If I want to go to Chicago, I'm going to ask you, where do I go eat? Where do I go stay? What's the best place to visit? I only have 3 days there. What do I do? That's kind of how we came up with the name of the show. Where to refers to two things. You wake up in the morning and, hey, where to? We're going to go somewhere. But also, where to? Where do I go so I have the best experience possible? And people love other people's recommendation. Like I said, over 80% of people from Media Market and then from Nielsen's as well, all those show, like one 81% and the other one 84%, show the fact that people trust their colleagues, their friends, their family, and ultimately now people on social media.
And you'll have the resources of the various tourism bureaus and the cities and the states who are participating. So you'll be able to fact check things. You'll also be able to use those resources to really tell people what's great.
And not only that, but those are actually the things that help them the most. Yeah. This is why we went directly to the state, because otherwise, you see this project, huge scale.
Sure.
Traveling for an entire year, literally it's going to be pretty much Monday through Saturday in a city each day, Sunday off, hopefully, so we can breathe for a minute. And then past that, take it again to another state on Monday. So we need the states to actually give us the script. We need them to promote exactly what they want to promote. I don't want to go to North Carolina and promote what I might like. Ultimately, I want to go to the places that they think have huge potential, yet it's untapped. We have people here in Vegas that have yet to make it to Lake Las Vegas, yet the tourism there would have a huge potential, you know, with a little help even from the locals. And it would be great for everybody. Think about it. You live up in Summerlin or someplace, you take 2 nights off, you're away from the casino, you're away from everything, and you just go stay at one of the 2 great resorts over there. You have a lake in front of you. You can rent a little paddle boat or a canoe, or they'll even serenade you in a canoe.
There you go.
One of the gondolas on Lake Las Vegas. And it's just an amazing time, an amazing way for people to get out of their regular routine and just go do something a little bit different. Like I said, a getaway. People would love it. It completely changes your life. Once you start living like that and once you start planning something, you're looking forward to a date, all of a sudden your relationship gets better. All of a sudden your relationship really with the people around you gets better, because you don't go to work on Monday all stressed out over, oh my God, I couldn't even get out of bed over the weekend.
And as you can see, Sonia is a very authentic personality, not somebody who is plunked down as a TV personality to simply read a teleprompter and talk about something. You are a person that experiences things, and I think the authenticity of how you approach this project is a big plus for it.
Thank you, Al. I hope that comes through because I don't have a bigger passion in life than travel and just making new relationships with new people. It is, I don't brag about things. I don't ever brag about what I have. I brag about where I've been. I love that.
And you know what? There's the other aspect of this series is people are going to learn a little bit more about their own country.
Yeah.
In a very, I'm going to use the word benign way, and it's a good word because they're going to learn it in a way that accentuates the positives and accentuates what makes each area kind of special.
Absolutely, absolutely. And think about the benefit on the entire community because if anyone goes to a city, let's say they go there just for the day, they don't even have to spend the night. People from Vegas, Zion is actually, 2 hours away? Right. You can go there, you don't even have to spend the night. However, you've at least experienced 1 or 2 restaurants because you have to eat something during the day. Mm-hmm. You've walked maybe into a couple of shops, you talk to the owner of the shops, because really most of those, that's who is there, you know. And even if, like I said, they don't spend the money for a hotel room, at least they are going to take a few pictures and all their friends on social media are now going to know that a new place exists close to them that they can just go to. And then if they do spend 2-3 nights in a hotel room, think about, like I said, hotel room taxes, dry cleaning places, souvenir shops, restaurants, just everyone down the line benefits from it, and it's literally kept within our communities. I've talked to so many people that they're saying, okay, so we've seen on the Travel Channel and Nat Geo and all those things, everything is Paris and London and Egyptian pyramids and stuff like that, and that's great. I mean, I'm all for international travel, but I just read a statistic that says that 64% of Americans don't even own a passport. Wow. So now, it's not that relevant talking about Paris as it would be about talking about the city next to you, where you can actually go. You know, you take an hour, you take 2 hours out of your day. You maybe wake up in the morning and just simply ask where to and get going. You don't have to plan for an entire year for that.
So there's a kind of a gap, in a way, you're saying, between the grandiose travel and travel that makes sense both economically and in terms of what's feasible and something people haven't done yet.
We have not seen, first of all, nobody was crazy enough yet to do 300 cities in 300
but
days.
But you are.
Yes, but I am. My grandmother used to joke that I was born with a backpack on. So I guess that's where it comes from. When I first moved to this country, I actually traveled through 35 states in the first 2 years that I was here. I continued for almost 8 years with just a P.O. box here in Las Vegas and a P.O. box in St. Thomas, and lived out of a suitcase in hotels, playing music on the road, actually. And you know what? It was great. It was the best time of my life. I have adventures to talk about. Last night, for example, I met some people from Sioux City, Iowa. Most people can't relate to them. They can't say, oh, I've been there. Yeah. I hardly ever meet somebody that I can't say, oh, you know what? I've been there. That's great. I know that corner of the town. Mm-hmm. I love the, like in New Orleans, I love the restaurant in Jackson Square. I can talk about all these places. And really, like, if you talk to people because we've even talked about travel a lot, you know. When you talk to people, it's so easy to relate to one another once you get on that. You talk to people about the places that they visited and the places that they love, and they instantly light up. So you bridge the gap.
Yeah, it's a fascinating topic for everyone. Explain a little bit what the show is going to look like and what people will see when they see this show that condenses all this travel into a short period of time and gives people really a bird's eye view of the United States.
So we're going to try to close in on the smaller cities. Not necessarily, I've been to Chicago a bunch of times. I've been to New York a lot of times. I've been to San Francisco and Seattle and all these places. And it's great. But everybody knows to travel there. We're trying to get to the little unknown treasure, so to say, in every state that really nobody knows about. For example, I talk to people about Leavenworth, Washington. It's this little tiny German town about 2 hours east of Seattle. Then the show Northern Exposure, remember that?
Yeah, very
it
much
was
so,
filmed
yeah.
only about an hour away from there in Roslyn, Washington. I've been to all those places, and you know what? I would love nothing more than to highlight those things. There are great little treasures that we can all get to. Sure. Even if you want to fly somewhere. For example, if people come from all over the country, they come here to Las Vegas. We're in Las Vegas. There is no better place, to go as far as the rest of the world is concerned. And it's great. We all love it, and we love the tourism here. But so many people don't know that just 100 miles out of town, either way, you have Mesquite that has 15 golf courses. I can't even remember exactly how many. Absolutely amazing town. And you have Laughlin the other way, which still has 9 major resorts. Actually, that's what our intro show is, to introduce this concept to the world. And you have the river. You have Colorado River. You can boat, you can jet ski, you can have all these outdoors activities that are absolutely a great way to spend your time. There are families with little kids. They can't necessarily pick up and pack suitcases and everybody lives for France. That's great, again, once a year or whatever, but what happens to the other 11 months out of the year?
And this show is designed to help the different municipalities and the cities and the places that benefit from this kind of tourism travel. What is it about this show that makes it beneficial for them to contribute to it, to be a part of it, and support it?
If you're talking about international travel, the only people that are going to benefit out of that are maybe the airlines, and then past that, the economy in France, or the economy in England, or the economy in Egypt, or whatever. So I'm trying to bring this actually to our cities, to our states, because people go, let's say, any city in any state. The money is going to spread. Let's say they spend 2-3 nights in a hotel. The taxes for the hotel go right back into the state budget, right back into the state tourism budget. They are able to advertise more. They are able to bring more people. So it's kind of like a snowball effect.
So the states that are involved in this, of course, they may have multiple cities within their state that could benefit from you going to these 300 cities in 300 days, and it's a pretty good value for them in a way to be involved in.
It is a really good value. The price that we're putting on this, it's so small. Think of it as a huge puzzle. So if you have a huge puzzle of the United States, if a couple of the states don't participate, we're going to be in trouble. No, we're not. We can give more cities to more states that want to participate, but that's not the point. The point was to make 300 cities in 300 days, 6 cities per state. That way it gives everybody kind of equal coverage. And at the end, really, if a travel channel or a Nat Geo wants to pick this up, it's great for them. They have 50 episodes already that are completely finished.
And you've decided to begin this, doing it through social media and the internet. What led you to that choice?
The same thing is the gap needs to be closed. People still watch TV, but I have not turned on my TV, unfortunately for me, I guess, in 3 days right now. I can always look at stuff on my phone, on my laptop. The market force was saying that 81% of the people actually trust their friends and their relatives to tell them where to go and what to do, not necessarily the commercials on TV. So we're trying to spread the word through social media because that's where people go for advice.
And there's an authenticity to this show, it strikes me, that puts it way beyond advertising. We all know the tourism ads that are bought, but it's an old adage in television and even in newspapers that if content doesn't feel like an advertisement, if it's in fact entertainment, it does a much better job of driving business.
It is, and ultimately that's what we're doing. We're talking about what hotels to go to, what restaurants to go to. And this is another reason why we left it up to the state and to the city to choose, because if we bring in private funding, now we have to adhere to a different set of rules. And it's not that I don't like that. I am so used to it. 15 years in broadcasting industry, this is what you do. This is what you have to work with. But if they're the ones that actually get to sponsor it for a really small price, they get the benefits of everyone involved. So you get a couple of $1 million worth of advertising and budget. That is an amazing opportunity really for people to be able to participate in this. And this is another thing. We're actually trying to feature a small human interest per episode.
So you're going to weave personal stories through this as well, which makes sense.
Yes. Like, for example, the intro show that we created has Don Laughlin because, he founded that city. How many cities can you go to these days and find the founder still living at the top of a building right in the middle of the city, So we're trying to create human interest so people can spread the news. The states are going to have access to all these episodes, and they are actually going to be able to spread it on their social media. Right. The cities are going to, the people involved are going to, and the people from that city are going to be able to do the same thing. And we're trying to make ourselves available on the road for press conferences. Mm-hmm. If any of the local TV stations want to come up and at one of the locations that we're filming, that would be great, and that's great press.
Well, you can imagine that being the case because the concept of doing 300 cities in 300 days, which is a little bit lunatic, you will admit, but a great idea.
Come on, you want to go with me, you know that.
But I'm really thinking about it. I'd actually like to go visit you. No, it's a phenomenal idea, and it's kind of like we've been through campaigns. It's kind of like a political campaign, but even more intense. But the interesting thing is the local media should be very interested in this story.
It should be, and that is another reason why we're trying to do something of that magnitude. I could have taken just 100 cities, priced them a little bit higher, still being able to get the budget and do this. But you know what? It's ultimately not going to attract nearly as many people as that. And then from each one of the cities that we go to, we're going to try to go live on Facebook for just, even if it's 1 minute, saying something. This creates another feed for the day, another feed that maybe, 300, 400, 500 people can see. And ultimately, like I said, what we're trying to do is create travel as a way of life. It is a necessity. You know how stressed we are these days, right? Yeah. It's amazing. Once you create memories instead of just buying stuff, and I'm not saying don't buy things, because we all do, and we live in a country, luckily, that we can afford them. But at the same time, if we buy memories, that's what we're going to have by the end of our life. And think about it, we all look at pictures, oh my God, yes, I was there. It was so great. It's something that people can relate to.
And this kind of travel, the idea that you're suggesting all the hidden gems that are maybe only 100 miles away from someone that they have no idea existed, does create kind of a way of life for travel, because we're used to going to the movies because we want to go to the movies. Well, if you think about it, if you drive 30 minutes to go to the movies, you could drive another 45 minutes and not go to the movie, but actually experience a place that will give you a feeling of the texture of America.
Within, like I said, 90 minutes, you said, 30 and 45, you're right about there. You can be in Laughlin on a boat, and from there, you can go through the Topa Gorge. I don't know if you've been, but absolutely amazing scenery. It's like driving through the Utah canyons, but on a river, There is Pirate Cove down there. We absolutely love it. 10 miles outside of Needles. I wonder how many people out of California have even been there, Sure. It completely feels like an island, good old pirate island, and we all know, we're pirates at heart. Born 200 years too late, as Jimmy Buffett would say, but, still there to plunder.
One of the things that's fascinating about this project to me is that it almost was supposed to exist once we had the internet and the social media and the platforms that would support it, because people have this instant access to it. They're not waiting for next week till they can find out about a town near Omaha, Nebraska, or something in Colorado. Then go punch it up for the most part, with the minute it's there and see it. And which also, as you point out, doesn't preclude it from being on TV, and that's a wonderful usage of it. And you, of course, are an experienced person in that industry. But the immediacy of this is part of what makes this project, I think, exciting for the people that will sponsor it and for the viewers.
And ultimately, the episodes are only 5 minutes each. Everybody has 5 minutes in the day. It's kind of like with exercise, you know. You kind of want to get to the 45 minutes in a day, but so many of us don't, you know. You want to get to the half-an-hour show on TV, and maybe if it's interesting enough, you do. But so many times people DVR it, and then they speed through the commercials, to where this, the entire content, I don't want to say it's a commercial because that's not necessarily it. It's a peer-to-peer recommendation.
Yeah. How do you think this project's going to change your view of America and your view in general of travel? Because it's going to be a fascinating endeavor to go on to run the gauntlet of doing this. And you know, we're emphasizing the fact that you're going to be on the move constantly, but you're going to have such a rich texture of experiences to recall.
Absolutely. I love meeting new people. That is my favorite thing. And once you get people and you meet new people, so let's say if I am someplace in Georgia right now and then I talk about, we're going to South Carolina next or to North Carolina, maybe somebody from Georgia that's actually close enough can recommend something to me, you know, going forward. And we're actually going to take about 30-second recommendations from people online on our social media channel, on the Where to TV channel. Recommendations from them on where to go next and what to do. And the better those come in, either we might use them in the show exactly the way they are, if somebody just used their phone properly and shot it really well for us. Or if not, hopefully when we get to the city, we're actually going to meet those people that have made that recommendation. We're actually trying to include them into the show.
Well, the interesting thing is it's not far-fetched at all to think that that interaction, that social interaction, is going to literally lead you to meet people in your next stop. And the other part about that is that's what makes this an ongoing story as you visit these 300 cities in 300 days. Part of the reason why the media will be interested. It's a part of the reason why it'll be kind of an evolving story. So you're going to have two things going on. You're going to have the evolving story as you do it, and then the complete body of work when it's done, which for those people that are to get involved in the show, it gives them numerous ways to get their message out. And it's also a message that will never stop being given out, because once something's on the internet, it's there.
So we have a budget for this, and it takes a lot of money and a lot of time to be able to do this. I am willing to do it because, like you said, part crazy, part I just don't want to be at home. As funny as that sounds, I love being at home, and you love spending holidays with the families and things like that. But you know what? I wake up every day and I want to go somewhere. Don't judge, I just do. So it's going to be great to have this. And part of this budget is actually going to go, we are going to hire probably at least 2 social media experts that are going to spread this all over Facebook, you have Instagram, you have Twitter, so these 3 for sure. All the videos are going to be on YouTube. So now you have links from YouTube into the web pages, and I have designed and I have actually helped people put together huge web projects. I know how the marketing works. So that's a little bit of the advantage that I have to your regular host. The disadvantage is the accent.
No, that's actually an advantage.
It's an advantage when it comes to travel. But the advantage to this is the fact that I have been in the marketing business as a whole, not necessarily just video business, not just necessarily production business, but photography, web design, graphic design. I have several of the resorts here in town. Actually, the Chamber of Commerce was one of my biggest clients, you know, while we were here in Vegas. I was able to create so many things for these people to be able to attract other markets, to be able to attract tourists. So I know I was involved with you in all the sportscasts and all the, you know, we went visited Pacquiao and
right.
Mosley, right? The long bus ride up to, where was that? Big Bear, I think we went together. Yeah, that was amazing. All my work involved travel, and I am happy to do it. So like I said, I have enough knowledge of social media, I have enough knowledge of the web. I know the right people to hire to be able to get us high on the SEOs. Because ultimately, if you don't have a web presence up on top, you might as well not have one these days. So a large part of this budget, as I was saying, is going to go to search engine optimization for the website, where2tv.com. We're going to create not just that, but over the next 3 to 5 years, our plan is really to pull more of those nice stunts. So it won't be 300 cities in 300 days, but it might be 100 lakes during a year, or it might be something like that. Or maybe we'll get to 100 national parks so people can go, to the park that's closest to them. But ultimately, we are going to try to keep this going for at least, I would say, 3 to 5 year minimum. If it goes really well and if everybody's happy with the product and with what they are getting, absolutely, we're going to continue for probably 10 years. So now, 10 years down the road, you look at a website where you can still go and see all the episodes from the first one, 300 cities in 300 days.
And they'll have a shelf life because that city's still going to be there and it's still going to have the charm that it had, and people will want to see it. Well, it's a wonderful concept, and it's something that clearly has not been done before. And best of luck to you in pursuing it. And it is something that I think is a little bit revolutionary in travel programming.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I appreciate your help with this, and hopefully you'll come see us somewhere on the road.
I'm going to visit you, and God knows I've traveled enough this country, probably every hamlet there is. So,
you and me both.
Sonia Sivo, creating something very, very dramatic in the travel programming world, and something that I think will create a great story around itself and create some great moments.